Yeah, how you guys doing? I got the Aspercream ointment here, Oint. I put it on my face because Satellite Man is tearing up my face. Now, there's laws against the government messing with people's faces in any way. It's an identity crime of government or law enforcement or police brutality of them warping, mutilating, distorting a person's face or teeth or body. Because, in reference to law enforcement, an identity of a person is very important. So whatever political person or whichever person, and there's laws. I've had to put this on my face before, and they supposedly had a court case that said if I ever had to put this, they have to arrest the person that's doing this shit. But, because they said if a person has to put Aspercream on any part of their face, the government has to get prosecuted. Because it's endangerment, and it's, somebody trying to call somebody's face an asshole or butt face, or you've seen that video? There's a guy that has butt mouth, or it's called look at butt face up on YouTube, or asshole mouth, or whatever. See, this person does these things and tries to blame the victim. These people have victimized me and terrorized me. I don't owe them nothing. I'm not friends with none of them. And these people was involved in the murder of my parents. And then they went around trying to conjure up ways of trying to claim that they thought they were digging up dirt when there is no dirt to dig up. So then they thought they would mutilate, and they raped me and they sexually assaulted me. And then they went around trying to find things to slander my character, which I have royal diplomatic immunity. I'm allowed to cut ties with anybody that slanders my character, no matter what. You know that, right? So, in reference to, and somebody say, oh, what about people telling funny jokes or friendly jokes? Well, jokes that are in good taste or, certain jokes. But, I got a good sense of humor. But any government mutilations is not a joke. You can't laugh about, oh, his teeth look like, because the government did this. Government is illegally trying to overpower people's rights in America with their ties with whatever person and whatever race. They try to communicate saying what race the person is. Like they've tried to say something about race and ethnicity of people that I'm friendly with. Meaning like people that I have friends of that race. But, I don't associate with Germans or Middle Easterners for a lot of reasons because my parents got murdered. And, maybe some of these other people might have been involved in that. Whoever's, slandering my character in certain types of ways. Like somebody might say they may not like me, and I don't care. But if they're physically assaulting me, no matter what, they have to get charged. Or if they're blocking me from my mother and father's mansions. Or if they're blocking me from my property. They made me pour out my diet soft drink, Diet Coca-Cola, and check to see how many shares my parents had in Coca-Cola. Or see if my father owned Coca-Cola. Or my mother or grandparents. Look up the soft drink companies that my parents owned and grandparents. Look up the coffee companies that my parents owned and any of the beverage companies. Look up any type of beverage and see if it's one of the beverages from one of my mother or father or grandparents' companies. And if I had any of those beverages and the government touched me or damaged anything, they have to get the death penalty. You ever heard of Coca-Cola and a smile? Have a Coke and a smile? That means like a soft drink, because soft drinks was cool. And they used to be, you'd just go somewhere and get a soft drink and sit down like you'd go somewhere to get a cup of coffee, That's what some people used to do back in the 50s. And, it was kind of a jingle, advertising kind of thing, The Satellite Man's been hitting me in the face. I'm not their child. I'm not their property. This man is trying to play his image of another race in his game of his stereotype fabrications or his stereotype of slander, of mutilating my face and teeth, when nobody of my race had bad teeth. They'll say, oh, what do you think about other people's teeth? I don't associate with anybody's tricks, loaded questions, or anybody's games. So in reference to somebody asking me about their teeth, it's best that you just don't, because if somebody tries to mess with me, I mean, what's her name on the internet last night asked me, I said, her teeth look good, whatever, but I only talk about my own teeth. I don't talk about them like, oh, they're perfect, or blah, blah, blah. I mean, I have to mention they are documented as being perfect before they caused all this damage, because my dentist worked and made sure that I didn't have no dentistry on my teeth. Just the pieces of raw old drilling bits that my parents had put in there for my identity, and the fact that I'm a natural-born hermaphrodite. Which, whoever these people are damaging my teeth, those people are not natural-born hermaphrodites. And even if they're trying to use stolen hermaphrodite children, like they're trying to use them as a weapon, they can go to prison for that shit. So anybody that's abusing me that has any stolen children, they can get arrested. And in reference to people stealing sperm or hermaphrodite eggs, those people don't have no privileges. They won't have privileges above me. They don't have no ties to nothing of my mother and father's estates or my history of wealth or accomplishments of any kind. See, these people are trying to play their trick. It's like the oldest trick in the book. They try to steal somebody's sperm, or they try to steal somebody's genetics, and then they try to make some extortion scam when they have used children to try to extort from a wealthy person. Or they try to murder off the wealthy person, and then they try to steal the corporation. It already says on treasury documents, I'm not allowed to give nothing away. Never signed, never, never gave, never, never sold, never, not never. Not allowed to sacrifice anything of my life for anybody. No matter what. And it tells you why. These people damaging my anatomy, trying to make up false lifestyle shit. These people need to get prosecuted for the crimes. They need to check these satellite controllers where they came from and what their history is and what their lifestyles are. The people that are trespassing into my life. Satellite technology has been a problem for a lot of people, but the government covers it up. Them trying to crash, or them trying to wreck people's mouths and teeth just so they can create more Salem witch trial terrorism on a person's life. You know what the Salem witch trials are, right? They tried to claim that somebody had magical, evil power back in those days when there was no satellites or any type of technology that they called, out of this world technology shit. Back then it was just people pretending like they were casting spells on people or whatever. Or, I don't know, there was some other things. Maybe back in those days there was other things that went on, but it usually wasn't technology. Reference to the Salem witch trials, or it's where somebody accuses somebody of something and public scrutinizes them and slanders their character. And most of those cases they found out, a lot of those cases was in reference to men or women or boys or young men that had been raped by other men, and then other men tried to murder them off to cover up their gay rapes. Is what a lot of the Salem witch trials were back in those days, the way it is documented. Most of Salem witch trial victims was people that had been raped or sexually assaulted, and they had gotten murdered by certain people. Probably not all of them, but there probably was some, That's when the Headless Horseman showed up. Sleepy Hollow or something, I guess. I don't know. Went after them or whatever. See, the Headless Horseman was a guy that they had as a scare tactic to stop people from doing shit, The Headless Horseman. Something like that. What was that? And The Legend of Sleepy Hollow or whatever. Anyways. The Satellite Man's still hitting me in the teeth. It's attempted murder. I even put the aspirin cream on my face. Still hitting me in the teeth. This person's trying to sink in people's faces. You seen that music video by The Weeknd where I can't feel my face? Kind of song. I can feel my face, but that song, you know, you seen that person with a warped face in there that smokes a cigarette? And in reference to the Consumer Reports and history of things, they need to go after these people that made up all these accusations about tobacco products and other food products. The government has been using accusations of nutritional products as their way of murdering off Americans, and there are people trying to steal food supplies and resources of America for their foreign country. So, you know, there has to be court cases in reference to immigration laws. And it's not just Mexicans. Now, you have to understand, immigration is very important. It's important that good people come into America. It's important that bad people stay out of America. So, you know, in reference to immigration, and, you know, these people are trying to ruin my relations with the United Nations, which I've always been friendly with the United Nations. And my father probably built the building. I don't know if my father owned the United Nations building. You can look it up. But, or my mother, I'm not sure. And these government people have tried to slander my character among ethnicities and races of people that I'm friendly with. And people that I'm, like, you know, there's actresses or models or of different colors, different races and ethnicities that have known me. And see, these men got jealous. So they thought they'd cockblock me by fucking up Bones and trying to murder me and shit. When I'm friendly with females. Because that's where, you know, me being protected by females is usually what usually has to happen. And then some guys that are friendly with those females, you know, security or people saying, hey, wait, you're violating his human rights. He's just a friendly person, you know. But, you know, people having their attributes of their own. Like, there's lots of people, there's like over what, 1 million? I don't know how many people are in the modeling industry, which is a competitive industry. And these people, you know the story about Gia, the model? These are the men that did that shit. These are the men that murdered John Holmes, too, probably. These are the men that ruined all these historic celebrities or people that are in different industries. Do you know that? These people that are doing this to me, those are those people. Which is totally unethical for them to do these things. These are the people that ruined, you know, athletes of different ethnicities. These are the people, you know, it's all about statistics in reference to athletics. So if you ain't got the statistics and you can't, you know, bring it to the table in a sport, then you ain't got it. You know what I mean? If you watch sports, you know, it's like, hey, put up or shut up, you know, that kind of thing. It's not about who can pretend to be an athlete. It's not who could pretend to be running the ball, who could pretend to be catching the ball, who could be pretending to throw the ball. No, it's about facts. You know what I mean? And that satellite man's still hitting me in the teeth. These people are tricksters with their games of satellites. And they need to get prosecuted for their tricks and their mutilations. They made me pour out my soft drink. They made me throw food away. That's considered in the food group, you know. Anytime they've ever made me pour out my coffee, or anytime they made me pour... They're trying to play this control game, but I'm not even their race. Do you understand that? They're trying to control another person of another race so they can steal from another race is what these criminals are doing. And they're in their positions of government, allowing their race to torture and mutilate people's lives. And then these politicians want to know why they're not popular, why people don't want nothing to do with them. Because they're shitting on everybody's life and stabbing people in the back or jabbing them in their mouth or stabbing them with satellites in their face and warping their bones. Nobody wants that fucking shit. Why hasn't the Osteoporosis Association arrested the Satellite Man? Or the Asthma Association? Or the Dentist Association? Oh, and I called the Paul Mitchell Beauty Salon School. How you guys doing over there? And Paul Mitchell knows me, and a lot of fashion designers know me in the modeling industry. And hello, Versace, and Armani, and Valentino, and Donatello Versace. And hello, DKNY, down in Karen, New York. Hello, Hugo Boss. And hello, other fashion industry people. Just because I don't mention you, it's just because, nothing negative. The fashion industry is a great industry, and, need to keep people in the industry that care about the industry and care about the people in the industry. Lots of things are important because these government people have tried to dismantle people's bodies, and they tried to dismantle people's lives. Like they're trying to pick apart people's lives with their government opinion and their political racism shit of their Middle Easterners or Germans or whatever race these people are, you know what I mean? This is physical abuse. It's not about somebody just talking shit. Because when people talk shit, it can always be proven wrong. And if it's something they're making shit up about. But in reference to the activity of physical assault, that's direct, that's instant, that's documented, isn't it? And the Satellite Man's still been doing it. Why aren't they arrested? Meaning like physical abuse, physical lies. I drink milk. Just the last couple of days I haven't drank as much milk. But I'm drinking Prairie Farms milk too, and chocolate milk. And, don't forget, my body grows. My father was over 9 feet tall. My grandfather was over 12 plus feet tall back in the 40s or something. Remember that. And my mother, she was 7 foot tall back in, the 80s? So don't forget that. And my grandmother, she was pretty tall too, on both sides of the family. One was taller than the other. One side was taller than the other side, but they were both tall. Basic information. But they both had the ability to be as tall as each other, pretty much. In some ways, But these government people slandering my character, these government people making up shit, those government people need to get prosecuted. I'm not their child, I'm not their property, I'm not their friend. And everything they've done slandering my character, they need to get prosecuted for. Because they're physically assaulting me. I mean, of course, some people are going to say shit, and you're going to be like, oh, that's just bullshit in the wind, But when they're physically assaulting me, and then they've caused more slander each and every time that they have damaged something on my body, or they've tried to downgrade my lifestyle, or my life, or my quality of life, no, those people need to get prosecuted for their crimes. Hello, human rights organizations, and hello, Italian and French, and Jewish and Catholic and other friendly people of different races and ethnicities, human rights, and hello, Latins, how you guys doing? And friendly countries and other people. The Satellite Man keeps trying to claim that they said it was one of these Asian men doing this to me that's tied in with the Germans or something. I have nothing to do with that Asian man, whoever he is. I have my American rights, and America is a country that has independence and it has rights. So in reference to people disrespecting that, the constitutional laws, even look at the Constitution lecture number 2. Alexa, look up the Constitution lecture 2.
Here's what I found.
See, I'll just play a little excerpt. It's on there. It's already on here.
That's a religious freedom right. The basic idea is all men are not to be assaulted, not to be killed by
this.
The founders had a way of different formulations of this. For example, Virginia, all men are by nature equally free and independent. Or Massachusetts, all men are born free and equal. These were different versions of the same thought. that no one has the right to rule another, that there is and then that was also put in moral language in terms of rights and natural law. So the natural right idea arises from the notion that not only are we born equal in the sense nobody's ruling, we also have a right, a moral claim that we can make on behalf of that state of we do belong, we do deserve to be equal and free and equally free. And from that then comes the idea of a natural right to liberty, from which, in the founders' minds, all the other rights in one way or another can be derived. If you have a right to be free, not to be ruled by another, that means the right not to be assaulted, not to be killed by another, thus the right to life. If you have the right to be free to use your own mind and your own body to acquire property, that means you have a right to property. If you have a right not to be dominated in the way you worship God, that's a religious freedom right. The basic idea is all men are born free in the sense that everybody who is part of a government ought to have given that person his or her consent to be part of that government. Equality then can be understood to be a moral claim in two ways. One is it's about the moral rights and obligations of human beings to each other. And as I said just now, the basic right to liberty and all the other rights that follow from it. And the other is a claim about the right to rule. Who has the right to rule, born equally free and independent, means not born into a slave relationship or subordinate relationship. Understand, of course, when they talked about this, they didn't mean children. They always understood children are under the temporary control or wardship of their parents. But that was always understood to be a wardship that was a preparation for freedom once the children grow up. There was no idea of patriarchy throughout life in the founders' conception. Once you've reached the age of majority, let's say 21, typically in American law at that time, you're free of your parents. And from then on, you are free of everything unless it's the laws that you've given your consent to obey. And it's that consent, it's that giving of consent collectively that is what creates a nation, creates a people that is then to be governed by a particular form of government. Founders use the term.
And of course, it's a really good explanation on a lot of things. I mean, I'm not sure what kind of awards they might have won on the lecture there, but it's really good. That's the Constitution Lecture 2. Let me see. It's Constitution 101, Lecture 2. But that's pretty good. It's a pretty good YouTube video. I don't own the copyrights to it, but it's really good. I don't know who does either. But anyways, it's a good acknowledgement of Hillsdale College. That might be where it's from.